So next, what we are going to study is about the reinforcement. This is the next step. I don't remember the step number. Is it step number 3 or 4? Uh, or we are just at step number 2 right now. So this is the next step. In the design, we design the reinforcement. Now there are two reinforcements. One is longitudinal and the other one is transverse reinforcement. Now in longitudinal reinforcement, what do we do is, I showed you the formula last time from recall the page number. This is the formula that we implement while designing. So now how does this formula come about? This is the formula. Let me. So this is our formula. Now how does this come about, this formula? You have a column section, and when it's under compressive load, there are, this is for a case of eccentric axial load only. In this case, eccentric axial load, one, the load will be resisted by the concrete. The load which is acting on the column will be resisted, one, by the concrete, plus the second resistance will be offered by the longitudinal steel. This will be the longitudinal steel. And the longitudinal steel is the steel that's running throughout the length of the column. So P is a load. Now concrete has got the compressive strength value FCK, that's a stress. Stress into area of concrete, A of concrete, would be the load which will be resisted by concrete, plus steel area, steel, the resistance offered by the steel to this load P, that will be the stress in the steel, that's Fs, into the area of the steel, that's As, or you can say ASC here. So from here, if you now have longitudinal bars here in this, these are the longitudinal bars, their total area will be ASC of all the longitudinal bars in the column which resist the compressive force. Their total area is ASC, and the stresses that are generated in these longitudinal bars are Fs. Similarly, you have AC is the area of concrete And so area of concrete will be this, the body of the concrete will be the this and this will be the area of concrete. Now you would have to determine the area of concrete by AC would be equal to A gross area minus ASC, because your area of concrete is, if this is the total area, A gross is AG, that is the total area. That includes even this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this and this and this. It's the total area. Now, what is your AG? AG is the total area of column. So your AC is only the area of the concrete, which now that's given here. AC is the area of concrete. Fy is the characteristic strength of the compression reinforcement. Now your Fs is taken as 0.67 times Fy in compression. Tension, when you are talking about tension, the how much is in tension, how much is the design tensile stresses? They are 0.87 Fy. But in compression, in for concrete, for steel, it's lesser. It's 0.67 Fy. So that's why this is taken as point. So we can write this equation as FCK. FCK is, you have to go for 0.414 times FCK for design strength. It's around 0.414 FCK into area of concrete, or you can say AG minus ASC plus, now your Fs is 0.67 Fy into ASC, which is the area of steel, or we can also write it as 0.4 FCK into AG. Then you have plus point, you have ASC into 0.67 Fy minus 0.4 FCK. Or you can also put it like this. So this formula PU, which is given in the code, can also be put in this form of fashion. This is for short columns, axial loading. At this moment, we will concentrate on short columns under axial concentric loading without any eccentricity in the load. Now, this is how you determine the, because all other parameters will be known, only thing to be determined is ASC. You have already fixed the dimension of the column in step number 1 or 2, whatever you are in the earlier step. Now in this step, you will get the ASC, which will be the area of steel. From there, you will get the longitudinal bars. Now, there are things to be noted down about this. One, when now you are providing the longitudinal bars, columns, the longitudinal reinforcement, this is page number 48 of the code. The cross-sectional area of longitudinal reinforcement shall not be less than 0.8%, not more than 6% of the cross-sectional area of the column. And this means you have to provide now your ASC that you provide, which is provided. It should be greater than a minimum. There is a minimum limit, and it should be less than a maximum. Now, how much is a minimum? A minimum is 0.8 times the cross sectional area, which is AG, or you can say 0.8. This is not 0.8 times, it's 0.8%. So this is 0.8% of AG, which is 0.8 divided by 100 into, or you can say 0.8 into AG by 100. Now, what is your AG? Your AG is if your column has a certain width and it has got a certain depth. So your AG will be W into D and divided by 100. So this is your A minimum. Then you have A maximum. A maximum is, as per the code, is 6% again of AG. So that will be 6 divided by 100 into W into D divided by 100. This is the maximum area of longitudinal bars that you can provide. So minimum is 0.8% and maximum is 6%. Now there is a reason to providing both minimum as well as maximum. The reason for providing minimum, I have already discussed this, that you have to provide reinforcement, the longitudinal reinforcement, for the purpose of confinement of the column, such that there is not a transverse uh, uh, lateral pressure developing in the column, and the column does not undergo tension in this direction. So we have to bind the column in a certain framework. So hum longitudinal reinforcement, we have to provide a certain amount, and that's provided by providing 0.8%. Now, why is there a limit to the amount of longitudinal reinforcement? Now, again, this is important. When you are increasing the longitudinal reinforcement, there comes a stage when you have uh, uh, a lot of longitudinal reinforcement which cannot be fit in the perimeter of the column. So there is a limit to providing the longitudinal reinforcement, and you have to provide the longitudinal reinforcement in the perimeter of the column. Providing it in the center of the column, somewhere here, will not solve the problem uh, because it will not confine the column, and it will, because you might not have a load acting number one concentrically at most of the times, and plus you have the column behaving such that there is buckling and other things which we discussed already. There is buckling in the column. Now that tends to make it one phase of the column becomes tension, other phase becomes compression. So in that case, if we provide longitudinal reinforcement in the center away from the faces of the column, so that will not be feasible, and it will not be proper to provide it there. Thereby we provide it at the ends or at the faces of the column, such that it takes the strains, the longitudinal strains, so, acting through compression, acting as compression, and properly through the column section. Let me try to explain it further. You have under compression, you will have a stress diagram somewhat like this. If the neutral axis is right at the center, this is a neutral axis, and you would have the stress diagram like this. Will you have it like this? No, sorry. You would have it like this. For concrete, it will be uniform compression. But when you have steel bars here, then in that case, at these points, again, you would have compression. And this compression, which is acting at these points, just so I was discussing you at the point of the steel bars, and these steel bars are not meant to take the tension now. Under axial compression, they will take the compression as well. And they could take compressive loads much higher at these points. So the compressive stresses that could develop would be more, but because there is a strain compatibility in steel and concrete, so the amount of compression developed will be uniform throughout. It will be shared by the concrete and steel. So this amount of stresses will be the sigma, you can say sigma C is the stresses that are developed in the cross-sectional body of the column under compression, and it becomes moreover uniform. Now, this is a case when you have an axial compression, which we are discussing right now. Let's not go into the tension phenomena which is happening at this moment. So you will have the maximum area of steel is 6% of Ag. Then there is one more clause. The use of 6% reinforcement may involve practical difficulties in placing and compacting of concrete. Now, code itself says the 6% is the maximum limit that you can provide. You can go up till 6%, but 6% itself may provide practical difficulties in compacting and placing of the concrete. क्यों? क्योंकि let me show you something. Compacting removes air bubbles from inside the concrete, making the concrete dense, which increases its strength and durability. Manual compacting is ideal for small concrete work. You can use a steel rod for rodding or a wooden crossbeam for damping. Mechanical compacting is done with the help of vibrators, which results in a more effective compaction. Surface compacting is done for slabs and flat surfaces. Needle vibrators are generally used for structures like footing, beams, and columns. While using the needle vibrator, make sure that the needle is straight and the needle should. So in columns, what you have a large length of the columns. And when you're pouring, this is the problem which happens in columns. When you have a large length of columns, you cannot place the concrete without compacting. So there is a issue with the compacting. Now, if you have a lot of dense steel bars here, there are 4 right now shown here. Now, if there were 8, there were 12 steel bars, you would have difficulty in even dropping down the compactor, this needle vibrator, which compacts the concrete. So for that purpose, you have to limit the number of steel bars as well. That have to be limited as well. Thereby, what the code says is where bars from the columns below have to be lapped with those in the columns under consideration, the percentage of steel shall usually not exceed 4%. So यहाँ पर तो 6% लिखा था, but for practical purposes, the designer should maintain कि 4% से ज़्यादा वो steel and reinforcement provide ना करे. Then in any column that has a larger cross-sectional area than that required to support a load, the minimum percentage of steel shall be based upon the area of the concrete required to resist the direct strikes, not upon the actual area. So this is a function. Then you have about आपका जो minimum area of steel head that depends upon the cross sectional area. But if the cross sectional area AG is quite large, then you take it with respect to the direct stresses, जो कि मैं अभी direct stresses आपको calculate करके दे रहा था. Now this is important. The minimum number of longitudinal bars provided in the column shall be 4 in rectangular columns and 6 in circular columns. And the bar shall not be less than 12 mm in diameter. That means now the bars that you have to provide is how many bars do you have to provide? Number of bars in columns, you have to provide 4 in rectangular column. 4 से कम आप नहीं provide कर सकते in rectangular column and 6 in circular column. So that means this is a rectangular column. You will have 4 bars at least minimum, not less than 4. And if you have circular column, at least you have to provide 6. So 6 bars you have to provide. At what spacing? That's also given here. Now that has to be 12 mm. Minimum dia of the bars, longitudinal bars, has to be 12 mm for all columns. A reinforced concrete column having helical reinforcement shall have at least 6 bars of longitudinal reinforcement within the helical reinforcement. Now, when you have a helical reinforcement, and which is usually the case in the circular columns itself, then there should be at least, this will be the helical reinforcement. Wrapping these, there is a helical reinforcement which is actually going like this, which I showed you the last time. It's going like this, then bending like